rich and living in an opulent bubble of personal comfort disconnected from real society's ethical woes? Do you want to live for way too long? For an immoral amount of money, we can grow you your very own clone. Why make yourself a clone? Well, maybe you lose a limb in a helicopter skiing accident, or your heart gives out during one of your many eyes wide shut sex parties. We can fix it by harvesting a brand new limb or organ from your perfect clone. Are they conscious? Maybe, but they definitely don't have souls. Welcome to Yesterday's Tomorrow Today and the past future world of Michael Bay's The Island.
Welcome to Yesterday's Tomorrow Today, a podcast about movies whose futures have passed. My name is Kyle McVeigh.
I'm Joey Reinish.
And today, we are joined by a special guest in the studio, Michael Felker, an editor known for such movies as Something in the Dirt, Synchronic. Those were the only two that I wrote down. I know you have so many more credits. You can just fire them off.
That's good enough.
Those are the only two.
I just whipped into existence, and those are the only movies I worked on. It's great.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. This
Thank
is
you for
great.
having me. This
The
is great.
Endless. I like The Endless a lot.
There you go.
That's another one.
That's how we bonded. me and
That's
Joey.
how we met.
Oh, I did know this actually because
Yeah.
I remember Joey. This must have been years ago, where
Yeah.
he was like, I just messaged the editor. I just really like this thing. I had to message the editor about it.
We were both on a Giant Bomb stream, and I saw you bring it up in there. I'm like, I just watched that.
Yeah, it was Small World. Like the guys on Giant Bomb were just mentioning the movie, and they couldn't remember the name. So it's just really funny. And then I just type in the chat, going like, "It's The Endless! Oh my god, I worked on it!" And then Joey reached out afterwards, and then the rest has been history.
Wow.
Every once in a while, I get I don't like talking to people I don't know, but every once in a while, if I appreciate somebody's work, I gotta let them know.
Oh my
Because
God.
not enough people do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I really appreciate that, considering as I'm always in the same shoes, just being like, am I encroaching at all? I'll just scream into a void and be okay. I'm a fan out later by myself.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. That's I don't know. People always want to hear from weirdos that like their work,
Yeah, exactly.
as long as it doesn't develop into a stalkery, murdery thing. As long as you don't like my work so much that you'll kill me, I want to hear from you.
It develops into a stalkery thing where they invite you on podcasts and you go out to lunch a couple times.
And
a
this
year.
is fine. And this is not
wow.
a trap.
I'm just now
No
seeing
way.
the saw contraption above us in the podcast studio.
You have to finish the podcast to escape.
I just see Jigsaw just come around the corner and just being like, "Do you want to actually record a podcast?"
Dude, would you like to actually come on my podcast? Okay, Jigsaw, that seems much safer, if I'm honest. Thanks, little doll. The doll's Jigsaw, right?
I think so.
No,
Yeah.
that's his avatar.
What's the name of the doll? I'm just kidding. I know it's not. The guy's Jigsaw. But what's the doll's name? I don't remember.
Jig Doll. Right?
Yeah, all right.
That works for me,
I don't
considering I've only
fucking-
seen one saw.
I've seen all of them, up until Spiral. I got the 7 movie set or whatever and went through it. Those movies just at a certain point they're like, all right, here's another thing. Yep, that was that thing. All right, here's another thing, and then just keeps going through this is fucked up, right? That should just be what they changed the name of the movie to.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's a thing. Now it's back.
I
Now it's
also watched one of them in the wrong order, and I thought deep catalog number 6 or something that they're
Yeah.
like, oh, they're getting artsy. They're assuming we know stuff we don't.
You just watched it earlier.
And I watched
We're
it.
missing an entire film's worth of information. You're like, oh, a pig woman, a pig mask lady. Interesting.
I thought they were just
Who could this be?
they suddenly trust their audience at number 7 or whatever the fuck this is. So, no, I just missed an entire movie where a guy turned and became a bad guy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, just a crucial plot.
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
Nothing
no big
super
deal.
confusing.
All right. And I will be honest, I went back and watched it then, and it didn't make that one any better.
Okay.
So, Anyway, Saw's not in the future. What are we watching
we're
today?
not talking about the Saw franchise at all today. We are talking about Michael Bay's The Island, a movie that came out in 2005, but is set in the future past of 2019. And this is exactly what it was like.
They nailed it.
I'm not a big Bay fan in general. I've not seen a lot of Bay movies.
I think that's so fucking weird, Jay.
I
How
know-
is that possible?
What's your bays that you've seen?
Bad Boys 2.
Okay,
Oh,
well, I
just
mean, that's
two.
a good one.
I don't think I've seen the first one, actually. But Bad Boys 2 is fucking dope.
Bad Boys 2, they invade a country,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Doesn't that movie start with like a KK rally?
Yes, yes, it does.
What a great
Yeah,
start
yeah,
to
yeah.
being like, what is Bay all about?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's about fucking up white supremacists is what he's about.
I feel like I've seen people like impersonating Bay more than I've seen Bay.
Yeah. you've
That
seen it.
might be true. I could see that.
Because there's like SNL bits and stuff. And it's the spinny camera with like
Sure. MacGruber.
Oh, yeah. That long lens that just super goes
Yeah.
fast
yeah,
around them.
that
Yeah.
drives me fucking bonkers. Like,
Well, he's still doing it because I watched Ambulance,
oh,
and he's still Ambulance. Did you like it?
I liked it.
I liked it too.
Yeah.
But it's like this thing where you would hate it
okay.
because Bay discovered drones.
Oh,
And there's like
do
a
they circle
ton
around
of
too?
no, there's just like a ton of unnecessary drone shot. They are really cool. Like whoever's operating this drone is
good at it.
amazing.
It's insane because he discovers drones and you're just kind of like, all right, what is he going to do? Just treat it like another like cheap helicopter shot? And they're like, no, that drone goes everywhere.
Yeah. It's really impressive. I don't know if it was adding to the film in any way, but I was impressed by the
For a movie
operation of
that's
it.
mostly contained inside a driving ambulance, they
Yes.
have incredible drone shots outside of the ambulance. So can't complain about it too much.
I find that so funny you haven't seen them. But
I mean,
Joey,
maybe
you're
I
friends
have,
with so
but
many people. Okay, you're friends with like 2 people that are definitely obsessed with Bay
big Bay
movies.
heads.
So you never
Yeah.
seen Armageddon?
I have seen
Okay,
Armageddon.
you
Okay,
had to
yeah.
have seen him.
It's on the Criterion Collection.
Yeah.
I've seen Armageddon.
Yeah, but you haven't seen The Rock.
No, I've seen The Rock.
Okay,
Maybe I've
you're
seen
saying
more
you
Rock.
think you've
Maybe
seen
you
more.
were like a Bay
Yeah.
head. You've suppressed
I mean,
it
The
so
Rock
hard.
was like
Yeah.
one of my favorite movies when I was in high school.
Rock
Yeah.
rules.
Because there's those little green balls, and I was like, that is a
Yeah.
threat I can understand.
I understand that those.
You chew on that, you're gonna melt. I get it.
I got it. Yeah, they made that very visceral out the gate. The Rock is so good, I forget that a third of the movie exists every time I watch it. It's the part where they're in San Francisco and
Yeah,
they do the car
leave
chase.
Alcatraz, and then it's like, what happens?
Yeah, it's great. Anyway,
Maybe I have seen more Bay than
I think you have. Yeah.
definitely hadn't seen this one before.
Pain and Gain?
Oh, I hated Pain and Gain.
Oh, I love Pain and Gain.
Hey,
I haven't
Pain.
seen it since theaters and was immediately being like loving it just because it wasn't another Transformers. I was
Yeah.
just ready
Oh,
for it.
yeah.
It was in the
It's-
thickness.
It
of
definitely
Transformers.
feels different for Bay. It's like him legitimately.
like the island.
I think I kind of like the island where he's like trying to. I like Pain and Gain is similar where you're like, I think he has something to say.
Yeah.
I don't know if he got there, but like for him, like it is.
Yeah, he's learning,
different.
He's learning to say stuff, but with the tools he has, which
Yes.
is just the crazy
Yeah.
bayness of it all. And it works sometimes, and then
Yeah.
sometimes you're just like, okay, I guess there's dumbbells falling off a truck for a long time.
But what about the weird turtle dicks in the Ninja Turtle movie?
They don't even bring those up. They don't even talk about their genitals.
Joey, why did you put that in my head? I didn't even think about that.
The problem-
until now.
What I need to remind the audience is that Joey didn't write those movies, so their genitals never come up.
That you've seen that video.
They don't
though.
reenact
You've
the
you've seen
tortoise
it.
fucking video.
So the island was a Felker suggestion.
A good
A
suggestion.
good suggestion because it wasn't even on our list. But I didn't even really know what this was. I think I kept in my head mixing it up with The Beach, which is a very different.
That's
Oh
a
my God,
very
you're
different movie.
Very different movie.
And I was like, I don't even know if there's future stuff in it, but it takes place in 2019, so there's got to be a reason. And then like 5 minutes in, I'm like, oh, okay, this is not at all what I thought it was gonna be.
well,
for you.
well, I guess I came to it because when you pitched me the podcast, and I was like, oh my God, this is a great idea for a podcast. I need to pull out my.
I'm gonna
my
clip
list
that
of
out a
movies."
little bit. Just clip that
just,
out. And
just literally stretch it out, elongate it, slow it down.
Felker, great idea for a podcast.
And so I was like, I think there is literally a Wikipedia page that is literally just full of movies that are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Bookmarked.
So I looked through it and I was like, whoa, there's so many movies. But the first one I pulled up was The Postman, and you guys already did it.
Yes.
But it was a great episode. I loved it. I'm so glad you guys did it. And then I got down to like what was at near the bottom of movies I really wanted to do. And The Island was there. And I hadn't seen The Island since like maybe like it's like a fever dream of premium cable in 2005.
Oh yeah,
2006,
absolutely.
Where I would jump into the middle of it after like coming home from school or something, and then just be like, who's on a hover bike flying to this giant R in the sky, like a skyscraper? I have no idea what this movie's about. So I have that in my head, and then it's been like 20 years now since I've seen it. So I'm like, all right, I revisited it, and it's a wild choice. I can't believe I picked it. I'm so glad I picked it.
Well, we were talking beforehand, before the show, and you brought it up. It's the perfect, like, folding your towels, folding your laundry movie, where it's like big and loud enough, and like you don't really have to see every frame to know what's going on.
Yeah.
But like it's entertaining enough.
I thought it was pretty all right.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's a fun movie.
I think the plot wise, I really like it. But I was telling Kim last night, if you think about any scene longer than the length of the scene, it immediately starts to unravel in ways that like I'm excited to talk about. With one thing in very particular in this episode, which I will save for later, but it's just like the elevator pitch is great.
Yeah.
And the execution is fine.
Yes.
And then any logistics beyond that, you're like, this would not work. This would not work. This would not
You can't do that.
That is the perfect way to describe it. It's a perfect podcast movie in the sense where if you think about it too much, you have so much to talk about.
Yes.
Because you could just fold laundry to it, and it's perfect 5 out of 10 movie where you're like, I'm going to look away. And
hot people, 2 Ewan McGregors. Like, what else do you need?
What can go wrong? And you're going to the bathroom in the middle of it, and they're just shouting the plot from the other room.
Absolutely.
You can't miss it.
That's a Bay thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he wants it to be. He's all about clarity. He wants you to know what's going on.
And what better sign of a good director than clarity like that?
Clarity of
you
plot.
will never miss the beat.
You absolutely will not. All right, let me just run down what this movie is actually about, so we can actually talk about the future of the island. So Jordan 2 Delta and Lincoln 6 Echo both live in a highly regimented existence inside a high-tech bunker meant to repopulate the Earth after an extinction-level plague. I think it's a plague, right?
Yes, there's sickness. Like, you have to go out or you get contaminated.
Only it turns out the plague never happened, and they're both just clones of rich people out in the real world, created as an insurance policy should they ever need an organ or a limb. They escape, track down real-life Lincoln, who is an asshole.
Great Ewan McGregor.
Love it.
Great.
Lincoln 6 Echo duck season, rabbit seasons, the real one, and takes his place. Then they expose this facility for what it is, that they're doing illegal cloning, and that's the end of the movie.
You know what though? That scene would not work because as soon as they shot the quote unquote real Ewan McGregor, the other one would be like, I can't believe it worked. Fuck.
By the way, you just recapping the movie, it's the funniest thing in the world when you actually just sit there and try to put it into a paragraph.
It's once again Joey's right though. Like the elevator pitch of rich people are making human clones of themselves for like future to live longer.
Yeah.
Right?
For organs and
illegally
whatever.
make it like great elevator pitch. Yeah. Then when you step out the whole movie, you're like, damn, that got wild, didn't it? That's great.
The whole thing of there's like a bunch of movie generated needless cruelty and as part of this general plan, and you just like buy into it because Sean Bean is like, well, they have to have intelligence and personalities, otherwise the organs don't work. And you're like, yeah, obviously, Sean Bean.
Oh my god.
You can't have an organ unless they know how to feel.
Yeah.
The ultimate hand wavy being like, we need the first 30 minutes of this movie to work as is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we won't have like an opening.
Yeah.
You have to have that line in there.
Yeah.
It is that thing where it's the system, because the whole idea is right that this company is, we're legally cloning human. You can legally clone humans in this future,
But it's supposed to
but
be they're
they
just
are,
like a blob of
but yes,
skin
but they are
and
not
stuff.
supposed to have any sort of consciousness
Yeah.
or a soul. I don't know how you regulate that. But this company, Sean Bean, is like, we lost whole crops because they didn't have memories and didn't have consciousness. Their organ, like, you just can't grow a kidney.
He's the
if you
scientist.
didn't-
I believe what he
The
says.
liver can't work unless he has a childhood. Like,
He must have a backstory, or else.
It must hurt him when we kill him in order for the liver to work.
Yeah, he must want to live.
Yeah.
because they know they wanted the bacon scene. They needed to have him be like, all right, I need to go eat bacon. And he's like, you can't have bacon because of your strict diet plan you have to have.
Yeah.
But if you have them be just like clones in pods, then that bacon scene won't work. And you're just sitting there being like, why do they have to fucking eat bacon?
Yeah.
Well, they. Okay.
Sorry, I threw us into bacon scene.
No, I'm thinking of bacon
Listen,
now.
I love- Did you eat breakfast?
No, I didn't. The thing that they made, like, other part of the needless cruelty is like the big thing of the lottery, or is
Yes.
that what they call it? The lottery.
The lottery.
It's called
yeah.
the lottery. I think.
Where you get to go to the quote unquote island
Yes.
if you win the lottery. So
Yes.
all of like these 40-year-old 3-year-olds
Yeah.
that are walking around just being like fully formed adults, but like with the intelligence of a kid, is like, I can't wait to go to the island when I win the lottery. And as soon as you hear that setup, you're like, that is not what that is supposed to be at all. I know that is a lie.
Yeah.
Like, do you think in making the movie they're like, that's gonna be a twist?
I think it's in the trailer.
Yeah, I think, but it is. This is one of those movies where you're like, when you, it's one of those, I think, difficult things about having a twist in a movie that relies on a twist. Is like, how do you sell it?
Without
You have to write it as if people are coming in knowing nothing.
Right.
Like, but
Yeah.
it's probably gonna get ruined. Like,
Yeah,
people are gonna know
yeah.
that's not it.
Yeah.
But like the bigger thing is, speaking of this, it's just this entire the to give these people, conscious people, something to do while they wait around to be harvested for parts, is they've just like created this like sort of I don't even, a bunker, like Fallout, like the platonic ideal of a Fallout bunker, basically, where
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
sleek and nice and
sterile and white.
yeah, and you get like a nice new jumpsuit every day,
And
and
totally designed for function and not designed to just because it looks cool to Michael.
no, there's a gym, there's a spa, there's a bar where you drink juice, there's everything you could ever want.
The
there.
silliest like club that they have.
Yeah, I
there, where
love
they all
their
just
club.
Sit in there and talk while big giant blue colors and
It's beautiful. But
Okay.
but the bigger thing is that to control them, they tell them this lie, right?
Mhm.
And the lie is that there has been some sort of awful pandemic, like plaguey thing, and the entire world is uninhabitable except for the island, which is where you can go to and actually like breathe fresh air and shit
doesn't-
like that.
Even that is, it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
But why do you even need this lie? Like, do you even need this big and this cruel of a lie to make this little like society function
That's
for
where
you?
my brain kind of breaks because I can't tell if they're supposed to be like, because they're only like 3 or 4 years old. Like
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the oldest one is like 7 based off like
Yeah.
the Greek alphabet naming system they
yeah,
have.
yeah.
So you're just sitting there going like, are they like 18? Are they 30? Are they 4? I have
Yeah.
no idea what they know or don't know. And it's
It's like the
absolutely
older
insane.
they get, they start getting the memories of the real person. So it like
Oh, they
ages-
never established that. Like
it ages them up a
Ewan's
little
special in some way that
Yeah,
doesn't
you-
really make sense.
I think Buscemi is just like, yeah, there's only like 30 memories and like they have slight variations, but you basically have this memory of you with a kid and a bike.
Oh, right, the fake.
Yeah, the fake
past.
memory. But then, like, what sets this all off is that he's like remembering other things
Yeah.
that may have been the other one, or may have. That's right.
It's like the other guys. It's like some sort of metaphysical. We're sharing a soul and memories. Like memories are transferred through. See, I'm definitely thinking about this way more than Bay did, for sure. That like traumas pass through your blood and through your
to tackle
DNA.
it than the director of Bad Boys 2?
He destroyed a whole village in that movie.
I think you have to have hope in order for the liver to
Well,
work.
so this is my question, though. So, like, the interesting thing, I love the cloning process in this, that everyone just kind of,
the goo bags?
like a breast implant that they're, like, grown inside,
Yeah.
and, like, they basically pop them out and, like, cut them out, and the goop's everywhere. But the interesting thing about these clones is, like you were saying, they have, like, they basically come out with, like, baby to like 3-year-old, 4-year-old intelligence, and then they retrain them to like read and get their motor skills up. And my thought
But, like,
is,
why?
Yeah, just let them wander around like idiots. Like, and then you don't even have to have a society, barely.
Like
Like,
Sean Bean waves it away in one line that
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, we lost a pancreas because somebody didn't read a childhood book.
yeah,
A product.
he didn't know how to make complex sentences, or like it doesn't make sense. It's just like if they start at 3, just don't educate them. Don't foster their growth anymore. Like, just let them lumber around and eat bacon and fucking do whatever. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and even like the weird like Amazon bubble wrap amniotic sac thing that they have
Love
is like
that.
so weirdly, like they just cut it open with a box cutter. There's
Yeah.
not like a zip. They don't have like a streamlined clean zipper opening.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
no, we
No.
have a grate on the floor. We're just gonna let all the goo
It's
go in
so
there.
good.
Yep, and now you have fresh human man baby. Like,
Yeah, that scene I really like because it feels so rote. Like when the doctor come in and he plays it perfectly. He's like, "Oh, how is he? Oh, a feisty one, huh?" Just because he like, and like he checks his vitals. Like, all right, got a good product. I was like, this feels like there
They've
is
done it
some like
100
world
times.
building stuff that's
Yeah.
like really really fun in this.
Mhm.
It's just like, once again, you think about the bigger, like the lie that they're telling
Yeah.
to these people to like make this society work. You're just sort of like, I don't think you guys got to
It's
do
a
this.
genuinely
It seems-
insane company.
It-
Like,
yeah.
genuinely insane.
I love it. I would invest.
Yeah, I would be a stockholder in
So-
this company.
all of this cloning stuff, because they're not like part of the, what do they call it, the cloning laws or conventions,
Oh yeah.
is like,
Oh, the 2015 eugenics laws.
yes, they can't have a consciousness, which leads me to infer that something had gone wrong,
Absolutely.
and they're like, we can't do this anymore,
Yeah.
so you have to only make a sack full of organs and stuff.
Yeah.
So like,
What did we do in 2015?
we clearly, yeah, we
What did
we clearly
what were
had
we
the
doing?
technology to do full people, and then like something happened, like too many Bugs Bunny incidents, like
yeah, too many people taking each other's spots. Too many. I don't know. I guess that you would think in this world we probably had like the human version of what was the name of the sheep back in the day?
Dolly.
Dolly.
Yeah.
Like, we must have done the human version of that, where
and
we
then
were just
liked
like,
the clone better, and they're like, fuck, this is a problem.
wow,
They probably
no.
just opened a can of worms where it's just like, fuck, there's 2 of them. That's voter fraud. Shut it down. Like, Obama's just like, you can't have that. In 2015.
Okay, now we have to figure out legally, is this clone a person? Fuck.
And they're like, and now there's a law that just says, are they like aware? Therefore, they like, what is the thing where it's just like, know thyself? And if
Yeah.
they have that, then they're like, nope, kill them or get rid of them.
Yeah.
So no one's hungry now either, then, because we can clearly clone full bodies of things. We can make all the meat we want. This is
Why
See,
give them
that's
meat?
my
That's the
thought.
crazy thing. Is like, why give them bacon if they know they're like, well, we're fucking up that heart pretty hard.
yeah,
Like, if anything, just give them Matrix glue.
Like,
Yeah.
never let, like, this is the
tasty
thing.
wheat.
Tasty
They're
wheat.
born with no concept. It's kind of a running joke that they have no concept of sex. Like,
That's one of the
they
things I
aren't
wanna
even
bring
like
up.
horny. They don't even know. It's like, don't let them know bacon exists.
Yeah.
Their meals should always be gloop,
Yeah.
perfectly like portioned,
Soylent.
like yes,
Soylent.
it should be it should be built custom made for what they need for their bodies. Why let them know that bacon exists?
Because the
fuck
liver
that.
won't work if they aren't disappointed.
I like that the running bit now is the liver won't work if it doesn't have a big human moment.
Yeah.
It's we got a Sean Bean away like a couple times
Just
here.
wave it away.
Like every other scene, you have to do one thing like that. We're like, no, this is, it won't work if we don't.
It just won't work if we're not sad. It does posit that most of what makes us human is just disappointment. For the most part, disappointment.
Wanting things we don't have, being disappointed at the things we do have
Yep.
or can't have,
Yeah, that's
and
basically
then your
the
liver
run.
works.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, beautiful. An extra liver. But yeah, I would think that we've gotten rid of most farms, right? We're just kind of cloning cows
Yeah, get
as
lab-grown meat.
necessary.
There's
like-
definitely someone out there being like, the clone stuff doesn't taste as good.
Oh, for sure.
Like we have
Yeah.
at our gastropub, we only use like non.
We
Oh, yeah.
We use boys that are farting in the wild. We get
Yeah.
these guys for
You
sure.
go up to Taco Bell and they're just like, here it is, the non-clone taco.
Yeah, like, this
then-
is still clone taco. I can tell.
We could clone a Wagyu. We could have Wagyu all the time, guys. We just clone them and be so easy.
There should be a new term for tasty clone, like Wagyu. Like anytime I think of Wagyu, like, ooh, my mouth salivates. But
It's
clone
not clone goo.
I was
It's
gonna
not-
say clone.
doesn't
clone
quite
goo's
salivate
not
the
it.
glands.
That's a different thing entirely. That's the stuff in the sacks.
Yeah, that's clone goo. That's what comes out. What is a good word for that? Clone.
Human meat.
You know what? Yeah, just shout it, Danny DeVito from Always Sunny. Human meat,
Human meat.
and then I would salivate a little bit.
Delicious. But yeah, I feel like that must have been a lot of things. Obviously, you must have had sex clones. You must have. That's the illegal.
Human trafficking of clones. That is like immediately like, I'll sell you a copy of Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah,
So we can't
Yeah.
can't give them any personality or whatever. It's just got to be a bag of
it's a real
livers.
doll that you have to feed.
yes. But then like as soon as you make enough of them, then they're gonna want to be able to vote,
Yeah.
and that's when the problems start.
That's really when the problem.
How are they going to function as a company beyond 10 years? Because what if the clone never needs to be needed? It's going to get like 12 years old.
I
and be
imagine
like,
they're
I need
getting-
to get out of these walls.
Well, here's the
and
thing.
mutiny.
I think these people are so rare. I mean, obviously, you're paying for all the tests, you're paying for the actual cloning process, but I imagine that the really big price tag is the upkeep. Like these guys are I'm sure they're paying a monthly or yearly fee to keep their clone alive and in
Isn't
peak
it like
maintenance.
$5 million for the clone, which is kind of
Feels
small
reasonable.
for the entire infrastructure of that.
Feels reasonable.
I'd get a clone for $5 million.
Dude, we all can lump in for one clone.
Yeah,
A mix of all three of us.
them. Okay, all right. Well,
What
whose
do I
memories
think
are-
I'll need? I'll probably need new lungs and maybe
Who
like
has the saddest memories to give it?
Look, we form a blood type club in which we timeshare one clone, and so
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, I got 2 weeks of that arm.
we gotta
and-
flush it out. It's gotta be O.
There's
by next
gotta
month.
be groups of people going in on a clone together, like for sure.
Oh my god.
I like this a lot. This makes sense. We're time sharing our clone.
But I mean, I do want to do it just to see what it looked like.
It just comes out and it just goes, just spits in your face and be like, we're your family.
What if it's beautiful? What if it's angelic and gorgeous?
I mean, I would.
I mean, possible, but
I'd eat it then to gain his power.
my human meat.
My human meat.
I can't believe people aren't using it for like more simple. Like, if you get a version of yourself that's young and genetically made, like use that as like a blood boy. Like come in and
Oh, sure.
Just like Mad Max blood bag.
yeah, like come
Do a
in
blood bag.
and flush yourself out and get like a clean.
But then once again, that means that you'd have to take, I don't think you're allowed to take your clone home.
No. You go there for like the treatment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You go there and you just sit next to it.
it just
and
seems
kinda-
like it's like a very
Ah.
limited.
I'm sure someone's getting
dialysis.
that's what I was I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
someone's getting dialysis from their clone, right?
And they're like best buds.
Probably.
Yeah.
They know each other. They're enjoying
They're
each
just sitting
other.
next to each other with tubes going, being like, I think of a number, and the other one's like 2, and you're like, how did you know? Like, it's just basically
Amazing.
weird talk.
Are
Like
you
that.
having a dream about a boat? Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah, I
Samesies.
forgot about the damn boat.
Samesies.
Do you
My
think-
future yacht? Yeah.
Do you think self-loathing would translate to you meeting your clone?
I think that if I met my clone, I would hate them.
That's what I thought too.
I bet that they would, especially a healthier,
Mhm.
more fit,
Young,
like
stupid.
but like I would hate them. I'd be so jealous.
Well, this brings up. I'll probably table this for later in the
Yeah.
discussion because I do have a general thought about specifically 2019 and a specific clone in 2019 and
Okay.
how would they meet and talk to each other. But I may save it for
Okay.
later in the thing because it's a good point to remember.
Okay.
Okay.
The sex thing that you brought up briefly was the thing that I talked to Kim about at length.
of
I was
course.
like, there's
Yes.
a couple moments in this movie where they they acknowledge the fact that they don't know what sex is
They've bred sex out of them somehow,
somehow,
or just not told them.
They have
about it. I
Arrested
can't
Development,
tell.
no touching guards.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
yes, I couldn't tell if they had like done something like genetically to kind of like make them not super horny, or if they just didn't tell them about it.
I think they just didn't tell them about it.
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I think
Is
they're
that why they burn their clothes every day? Because they're having wet dreams.
That's like kind of my point. Like, it's impossible to not discover.
Yeah, your sexuality on some level.
Yeah, at some point.
Do you think
Yeah.
that giant reverse water shot is just a wet dream that Ewan McGregor had?
Absolutely. Yes. He
Yeah.
had to burn his clothes.
Yeah. They're like, I'm missing a shoe. And you're like, we had to burn.
We had to
You
burn
burned your
that
whole
fucking
room.
shoe.
Yeah.
You've come everywhere, and it's horrible. Everything.
There's because it's a movie, there's those couple moments like where Scarlett Johansson like does the passionate kiss,
Yeah.
and then they're like, oh, I like the tongue part, and,
Yeah.
and like all those things, and then there's a later scene where they do have a sex scene.
Yeah.
But my theory is we saw the entirety of the sex scene.
Oh, it was that fast.
No, it was just them kissing.
Oh, they didn't even.
And then
Oh, that was
They
it.
just bumped uglies, not knowing what.
Yeah.
Like what do I?
Well, yeah. How would they know? Like they haven't. They wouldn't know.
They wouldn't
They
know.
wouldn't know. It'd have to be an accident.
Yeah.
They would
They'd
have,
have-
like someone
Whoa.
snuck in one of those childhood
Yeah.
books that they read in mass, being like, "What is?"
I don't even know if he wants to see her
Vagina?
naked. Like I don't even know if that's even a.
I
a
can't
thing.
imagine not wanting to see Scarlett Johansson naked, but like he might not.
He's got like a gut intuition where he's just like, I don't know, there's something about me, but I want to talk to you 5 inches from your face all
Yeah.
the time,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
can't unexplain that. But then at the same time, he just goes like, well, that's just how I pee, and that's it. That's my penis. That's all it does.
Yeah.
That's why
It's
it's
all
called a
it ever
penis.
has done.
Everything that's like baffling about this movie goes to being like, I have no idea what these characters are thinking and how they behave as people.
Yeah.
Because from
Yeah.
scene to scene, it changes, being like, we need them to be 18 or we need them
I-
to be 4. And
Yeah.
Yes, I would say that the biggest if I have one big critique of
Just
the
one.
movie, I was thinking as a film, like
Okay.
as a film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking about this the other day where I had it on in the background as I was cleaning just to kind of refresh it as like a rewatch. And I did have the thought, I was like, I don't know what these characters' deals are. Like I was like, I don't, which I guess is maybe kind of works for a clone movie, but I was like, I don't, like if you were to ask me what are the defining traits or personality of Scarlett and Ewan's characters, I don't think I could tell
They're
you.
the same.
My wife watched this with me. Well, I watched this twice, and the first
Yeah.
time she watched it with me, she went like, I don't know what they're thinking at
Yeah.
all, and
Yeah.
I don't know like what's happening especially in the second half where they're just basically running everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, they're great at running.
Oh,
Oh,
Peak
look
physical,
good. Look good. Running.
peak physical condition.
Great livers.
Yeah, amazing livers, powerful livers.
tip top marathon livers to run through the desert in.
My only other thought about what else you could do with these clones, and it's only worth mentioning to keep the streak of mentioning this movie alive on this podcast, but we could do a pest. We could clone ourselves to hunt them. Or we could clone John Leguizamo to hunt him.
That's way better.
Wait, do we clone the actual pests too? Like,
We-
what is the anatomy of that?
The Pestario himself.
Pest Pestario, so you can go hunt him.
Yeah.
But you would have to like somehow de-age him to get pest age John Leguizamo.
I think
Pest
it,
stage sounds like a cooking term for these clones. It's just like, yes, we pest stage them on top there.
I mean, it's just a
human
thought. I don't know. I feel like someone would want to hunt someone, and it feels like a pretty chill,
you could see it as like a most dangerous game with like no stakes, being like, my
Absolutely.
clone, I'll just let him run in the woods for 10 minutes and then I'll hunt him.
Yeah,
I would watch
that's it. Let him
a
go.
show
Yeah.
where
You hunt yourself.
no, two famous
Oh.
people are like, I bet I would win.
Oh.
Oh, and
then
they
you
let.
and then you celebrity deathmatch for real.
Oh,
Oh,
and
but
they could
clones.
coach them on the sideline
Yeah.
while they like
Oh.
actually just beat shit to death.
Yeah,
like,
they're
oh my God.
clowns. They don't have rights.
That's an awesome. That's an awesome idea.
Yeah,
Watch the
Not
shit out of
according
that.
to the 2015 eugenics laws.
Well,
They
you
could
know,
have rights.
that's like the back room at what is this place? EtherCon?
Yeah, whatever it is, I didn't really make.
EtherCon rules.
Is that the name of it? Is that the name?
EtherCon sounds like a drug convention.
I
Yeah.
couldn't remember. It does, and no one knows what's going on. Well, everyone's as smart as these clones at EtherCon.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, it's my time to go into the death pit.
Everyone forming a Hall H while we talk about ether. And everyone's just asleep.
Best ether to huff. I don't. Was that the name of the company, or was that just the name of the place? EtherCon. I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
I've seen it twice and I've already forgotten.
It really doesn't matter. But
I'm looking through your. I think it's the name of the place according to your notes here. Because
I think
you're
it
talking about
is.
The
I
amenities
think it
and-
is. I go to.
And you
deep on
brought up
these
sex in
movies.
2 different topics. Really,
Sorry.
just like
What's really
I
going on
can't
over there, Kyle?
believe they don't fuck.
Okay, but yeah, that is. I guess I was trying to that whole facility. I think there's a lot of good things about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the worst things. I mean, in terms of amenities.
I mean, they have an
Like-
OG Xbox in there. It's kind of awesome.
Whoa,
With-
20,
with VR.
2019's Xbox?
Guys, was that what Xbox was in 2019? I don't remember that at all.
That's just
That was not what Halo was like.
Oh my god, yeah, just the alternate universe where in 2019 they stuck with the original Xbox logos and font, but it's
Yes.
also kind of VR, like Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Absolutely. I fucking love that.
Yeah,
I
Still
wish
don't
that
have
was
that.
real.
Yeah.
I'm
Still
so
don't-
mad. We still don't have it.
Yeah,
What
they,
a nightmare.
they went the wrong direction, Xbox.
Yeah, this we agree. This is the better future.
yeah.
than
We
what
don't
we're
need
in right
Game
now.
Pass. We need OG Xbox Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
God, that's good.
Let's talk a little bit about their version of outside of EtherCon,
Yeah.
their LA.
Yeah.
I thought was a pretty rad, realistic future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they went up and there's like cable cars everywhere,
Yeah.
and like they made it look busy, but not like CGI futured.
Yeah.
It felt fairly realistic, and just like LA sort of starts to New Yorkify a little
Yeah,
bit.
the aesthetic of it was like, oh, this is kind of close to a 2019 like idea of like cable car stuff. Even though my brain can't turn off the fact that only downtown, like we're all LA people here.
Once
like
again,
downtown
yes.
LA is
Yeah.
the only place that feels like any New York-y city whatsoever. Everything's sprawling.
Yeah,
None of these
yeah.
cable cars could actually do that over like
Just in
Hollywood.
like 2 or 3 square blocks
Yeah.
is the only place you'd have the cable cars. But
Yeah.
it was like just different looking enough
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it felt like they didn't shoot too far. It's like everything in EtherCon is like pure sci-fi, and then you go out into the city and I'm like, oh, this is kind of like
I could
This
see
feels
if
a
we
realistic-
invested in infrastructure, public transportation,
Walkable
trains,
cities.
a walkable city. This 100% could be what only downtown LA looks like.
yeah.
Considering that the biggest thing that's happened to LA and Metro is just an expo line that went further
Yes.
into Santa Monica
Yes.
is just baffling.
And we were,
Whoa.
and do you remember the excitement? We were all thrilled.
I took it
And-
once.
Yeah, and I did
To
too.
work.
And that was it. I took it once as well, just because I was like, this seems new. Let's go underground. This seems great.
Yeah, and then go above ground all the way to Santa Monica Pier and realize there's no room for anyone on this thing.
And I didn't even want to actually go to there.
And it takes longer than actual traffic.
Oh God.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just,
pretty sweet.
I think I'm with you. I'm like, this is I wish this LA in the island was a little bit more in our actual
Yes.
LA for sure.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's just, it seems like there was a plan here.
Yeah.
And it seems like the plan was to alleviate traffic and encourage public transportation, which is all we need. Someone,
Anyone.
anyone that works at a county or city level in Los Angeles, please help us.
They came up with clones. The future is amazing. They can clone human bodies, and someone in Los Angeles realized traffic was bad.
Yeah, I bet they outlawed Airbnbs in that future. I I bet they fucking did it. I bet we all have affordable housing too.
Yep, exactly. We all have that one hover bike that everyone seems to share.
Fucking love that. I also, that's my only thing with that in futures like this. Also in like Back to the Future 2015, where it's just like once you involve hover vehicles,
Yeah.
People can't
what a
handle
road,
ones on the
what
ground.
are roads like, guys?
Yeah.
Where do we drive?
That's where my
Everywhere?
first instinct thought was just like, wow, you guys really figured out how to make traffic go up. And then there's
Yeah.
a hover bike, and I'm like, well, you're going to destroy this in like a day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some insane person.
One drunk
crashes.
driver
That's all it takes.
Is
is going
going
to take
to
down
mass-
a skyscraper.
But I was trying to figure out if hover bike was something we could have bought, or was hover bike
Special
secret
ops?
government.
Like Black Ops.
A
or
Black
It
Ops
kind of
thing.
felt like it because they always like didn't it always come out of their van or something?
I think they had the one that was, guards were. I'm trying to even picture how they wrote it and then shot off of it, because it like had like a weird like recliner chair thing going
Yeah.
on, and then they only had one, I think, that they stole.
It,
so.
maybe
Yeah.
that's like they figured out clones and like maybe we should do hover bikes. now.
Maybe we should do hover
We're not
bikes.
quite like at prosumer hover bike.
Yeah, there's the president. This fictitious president in the thing was just like, you can't have clones without hover bikes. Go back and work on the hover bike.
Come
okay?
on.
We skipped a step.
Yeah.
Guys, we were gonna figure out hovering and laser guns. Those were the two things we were supposed to figure out before clones. You're telling me we figured out fucking clones? We mapped the human genome before I have a hoverboard? You fucking idiots. What are you doing?
They didn't even get lasers yet. They have harpoon flesh guns.
Oh, I hated those so
Which
bad.
we're like, you're damaging your product.
Well, is that
Well, they're not.
is that to
He wasn't looking for cabs. Like, they didn't clone him for his calves, so it's fine.
you get
Michael
hit with
Clark
that
Duncan
thing
just being like, no, we're gonna just go right for those
Yeah.
Achilles.
Oh,
Just rip 'em
God.
off. Yeah.
I wonder if that is like their future version of the net gun. It's like
I mean, that's what
we're
it
not,
felt like.
We're not gonna like kill you. We're gonna stop you, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
fuck your calves.
I hated
Yeah.
that. By the way,
Yeah.
he's out there. Did that scene where he's getting drugged back? I was like, breaking my heart, Michael.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was.
All right,
there were
breaking
good
my
moments
heart,
in this
Michael.
movie, and I just went, I know, I'm breaking everyone's heart here. You're gonna drag me out of this podcast studio with flesh guns and be like, no, please, I
Those-
want to go to the island.
They're very visceral, those things, and I
Yeah.
didn't expect them to do like the close-up insert of like what that actually was doing.
Pretty sweet.
That whole surgery scene was weird because they like, it's like half operated by machines, half operated by people, to the point where there's one robot arm that's just dabbing loose blood.
Yeah,
Right, with a gauze thing.
That's
Like,
great.
I was just like, what is
$100
this?
billion piece of technology.
Someone's like, I got the dabbing arm
I-
right.
I feel like I could operate that. What
Yeah.
kind of degree does that take? Is that a full medical degree, or do you think that's like a 2-year?
I think you go to a tech school to be a
Do
wife.
you think it's a tech? It might be a tech school thing. That might
Just
be
a
worth
wipe.
it.
Dreams of a mechanical engineer being like, so what did you end up doing? I'm the guy who did the dab arm.
I'm the dab arm guy.
If you sweat a little bit during surgery, I got you with a big metal arm.
Man, but he's a millionaire. He's got his own clone. That guy was making clone money for sure with the dab arm. So
Yeah, that clone's probably running around somewhere being like, I have a dream about making a dab arm.
Well, speaking of the surgery and this facility and the millionaires that are required, it's kind of amazing the amount of future tech in this place that is just secret. Like that is kind of the thing. This place's biggest achievement is
Yeah.
that it's just every future thing and growing full people and whatever, and no one seems to like be checking.
They
on
have
it.
like a weird holographic wall for the inside, and is it just underground? Is that
yeah,
what it is?
It's
that's
yeah.
one part that doesn't make any sense.
The
like,
underground.
if you're able to project like fake outside, but then just put it underground on the
Yeah.
outside, like use the tech for both sides.
It's also I mean, not only that, but it's also just like in theory, the only people that were ever going to see that hologram are people that work there, and they already know they're underground.
Right.
So the hologram, it's not like there's big windows
Yeah.
in that facility that they're looking out into like this beautiful area. Like the whole hologram thing is.
Maybe it's like a seasonal
Insane.
affective
Yeah.
disorder light.
But that's the other thing. Why aren't I hate you? And my thing is like, why aren't they just using that technology everywhere in the real world? Did they also develop amazing holographic technology and they're only using it underground for a lie.
That's why this movie's so great for this podcast,
Yeah.
because there's so many weird things where like, wow, you went so far ahead in the actual tech.
Yeah.
But the actual application of it, you're so back in 2005.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I think about the first one that calls to mind is their Fitbit
Yeah,
wrists,
yeah.
which
Yeah.
are like literally only used to like open doors in the facility.
Yeah.
It's like
today
a
we have
Disney
like
World thing.
yeah, but now they're like you could check your heart, you could check your track
Yeah.
everything you're doing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're like, but we'll fix that with nanomachines that go in your eyeball and come
fucking
out of your penis.
Yes.
That's I forgot. I completely forgot about.
You
that
forgot
thing.
about that? Yeah,
The most
that's a
future
nightmare.
thing.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
you just like chill past kidney stones with like
yeah, that's just checking your organs, but doesn't track you at all. So when he's
Right.
in a subway, they're like, I have no idea where he went. And he's
well,
like,
if you
Well, he
if
has
you-
robots in his fucking bladder, so I think you could probably find him if you wanted to.
it was
Yeah.
adding the tracking stuff increased the size to the point where you couldn't pass them. It was like they haven't figured out how to shrink it
yeah, exactly.
enough yet without
I-
exploding someone's dick off.
I hated that. That was the worst thing in this movie.
We're
What-
finding out that we all actually hate this movie because of all the parts we
I
blocked
slowly,
out.
well, like it is. I did kind of have to block it out because it goes in the eye. That's like so uncomfortable, and I hate that.
And he was just going like, ow, ow, this hurts. And
Yeah.
Sean's like, no, it doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't.
He's like, "You're
Absolutely
lying."
gaslighting him.
Yeah,
Like-
it doesn't though.
Oh,
because it's going in my
It's going-
eyeball.
I
You
can
can see
feel
what it's doing?
I can feel them in my head.
They're
No,
crawling
you
on my
can't.
cornea. Like,
No. You big dumb idiot. You just learned how to read. You don't know how to feel.
I gotta admit though, when I saw those, I'd be like, oh, that would be nice if those existed. Like, I would probably let them go in my eye if they could like swim through my body and finally tell me what's wrong with
if
me.
they could find like, like, oh, there's a tumor there that I wouldn't have seen before.
Sure.
I just would rather, eat it in a sandwich than not have it put through my eye.
It doesn't work if there's no
now
trauma.
that-
We've
This
been
is
through
what I'm
this.
talking about. See,
I'm
Michael
sorry.
Michael hit on the real issue there. Nothing wrong with the bots itself. It's the entrance and exit points. Like, are you telling me I can't shit those out?
Yeah.
No,
Because that feels like that would be a lot easier.
The robots are literally at that point in the body going like, let's go with the smaller, more painful way of
Absolutely.
getting out of this body.
also,
like,
your
it-
eye duct like connects to your pee duct.
Well, that
at
was
some
my.
point.
Even go through the nose. At least there's like
Anything.
a hole there.
You could have snorted a rail of those things, and it would have worked the same. It doesn't matter.
But then where do they come out?
It's still your piss hole.
Oh, okay.
You have to. You can sneeze them out. It doesn't. Why can't they return from whence they came?
That's true. They should be able to crawl back out.
Yeah. Why? Yeah, just crawl out of my open mouth
While
like a
I'm
reverse
asleep.
spider.
It's like a sleep test where it's just like everything's done while I'm asleep. They're just like, all right, we got the results. We're gonna leave quietly so we don't freak you the fuck out while you're at work.
Yeah.
Just you're eating like lunch with somebody and you're just going "Ah!" all of a sudden as like you start leaning back at it.
And they fly out of your mouth. Like the fucking mummy.
And then you're just like, yeah, exactly. Your jaw just extends like another 5 feet. You burst a bunch of locusts out, and then you just shake it off and go like, "So TPS report."
So yeah, I had a great weekend. I just
Sorry, guys. I went to the doctor this weekend.
excuse me.
And your buddy's just like, "Oh, you got the bots again. dude."
You got the bots,
Like just
yeah.
not shaking.
I mean, that's better out your mouth than you actively shitting a bunch of bots out just like during lunch. Ah! It's fine. Oh, I blew my pants out again. Shit. I
Yeah.
gotta get my back up.
So I'm glad we don't have that in our.
Yeah, no,
2019.
that's great. I'm so happy we don't have that in this current
I would
future.
I would still do it.
Okay, all right.
I'd still
1 out of
do
3
it.
dentists agree it's okay to put nanomachines through my eyeball.
Look, the benefits outweigh the blowing your dick out. I think it's if you
We
find all this.
honestly don't know that.
You're like, we found no tumors, but your penis is wrecked now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did destroy that. So there's an issue with that now. We found that.
We're gonna give you more nanobots to find out how to fix that.
What a nightmare.
Anyway, Fitbits are weird there too. So
That's right.
better night 2019.
No,
here.
but you're right. That's a great example of a future thing stuck in when the movie was made. Like they just
Yeah.
couldn't anticipate that we would be able to have things
Find
that
more
big
stuff.
that track everything about ourselves.
Exactly. Like it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this movie specifically, because there have been like at least 2 to 3 paramount things that have changed between like 2005 and 2019. One of them is like Fitbit stuff and also like iPhones. And then just seeing like people being like, we got touch screens right, but their application is bizarre and weird and no one knows how to unthink it.
I forgot about the crystal control desk.
Crystal mouse on the giant ass LED table.
I love the LED touchscreen desk.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
No.
I feel like we're fucking up by not making that.
The crystal needs to be there too, though.
The little tiny crystal
Crystal
pyramid.
doesn't make sense.
The crystal
Could you use that? Is that could that be an editing tool?
It's the
a very specific editing tool.
The crystal is the grounder, because you know, like when you're doing like a video game on a phone, you're like, oh, this sucks because
No
like
feedback.
there's no like, I can't tell how far I've moved.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, if you have the crystal, it's a grounder.
Okay.
So
Right,
it like
right.
lets you then like use the touchscreen in a way where you can do it without looking at it.
Yeah.
The crystal is crucial.
Okay.
My problem is that you can't have lunch on that thing. What if you spill like some like lo
That
mein
is
on
a
it, and then
problem.
the thing is just like, oops, I opened all of your documents and sent a mass email to all of the people.
That's when they sell you the aftermarket like iPad cover for it that you have to like
There's a
fucking
giant ass like tablecloth.
yeah.
$70,000.
Yeah, it's just a tablecloth. They just invented tablecloths and figured out how to sell it to you for
They'll just call it a
hundreds of dollars.
smart cloth and
Yeah.
then charge you like $200 for it.
Absolutely. See, that's not a problem. See, this is already there's a great market for these desks.
I-
Right.
It also
we need
feels.
those desks.
I mean, that's this thing over here, this game board.
Yeah.
It's just a small version of that. It just doesn't work very
But
well.
where is your crystal
But it
pyramid?
doesn't have a crystal.
See, and
that's
that's
what
the
I'm
problem.
saying.
And that's how you know it's going to be shit.
yeah, it
Joey's
is
just
shit.
hung up on the pyramid, which is the weirdest part of that thing. Being like, I need that.
Yeah.
Well, that was. It's just like the
There's
thing-
no buttons on it.
Like I've seen touchscreen things.
Yeah.
That was just like a thing where it's like, that's fucking weird, and it's like a very specific choice.
It also maybe turned it on too.
but it like
Maybe.
it was a physical object.
It did everything.
that carried
It did everything.
It did whatever he needed it to do.
Yeah.
Is a magic crystal.
I mean,
It's-
it's basically like a whole episode. Eventually, you'll do Minority Report, but there's like a whole episode devoted to this. I feel like there's a whole episode devoted to how does this thing work? Like,
Yeah.
what is the functionality? What's the OS? What are
Yeah.
are there buttons? Are there not
Yeah.
buttons? Does it read fingerprints? Like,
it was just like some guys like, we got these crystals. I'm like, yeah, crystal looks cool.
Nice
we're
job.
back to the Bay of it all. Bay is just like, yo, man, that crystal's fucking cool. Put it in there. We're like, how does it
Yeah.
work? I don't know.
I
Sean,
don't know,
just move
man.
it.
We're not gonna put a regular wireless mouse in there. What are we fucking idiots?
They're
Well,
like,
it looks
what
like
is a
shit.
wireless mouse? That can't be possible. It needs a cord.
Bluetooth? The fuck?
That's the VFX nerd's problem. I don't care how it works. Just put it on the table and talk about what's on the table.
Yeah. Pull up the dreams and the boat on the screen thing.
I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, that made it feel more future to me because it's like I've seen a touchscreen or a tablet.
Yeah.
I've not seen the crystal floating.
Yeah, it gets halfway there and being like,
Yeah.
wow, they were really ahead of the time with like touch screens that are interacting with an interface, and then
Yeah.
you just have silly little crystal thing.
Yeah.
Going like, but you can't touch it. Actually, you need this to actually interact with it. It's so bizarre.
Well,
I
it
love
works.
this.
It
I love
works
this
for
movie.
me.
Maybe I love this movie.
I'm constantly going back and forth. I think I'm gonna land exactly where I at the end, exactly where I was at the beginning.
Folding
It's
laundry?
Fine. Yes, folding my laundry.
I mean, you're not like blown away by the MSN directory
No.
booth.
Well, I like the idea that the yellow pages are back, but in a different form. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that you can find, I think, all of the super rich people's addresses
Yeah.
and numbers should be public.
Oh my god, yes.
I think that that's really important. I think that's humbling.
We
and I
should
think it
have a
be
vote
like
by
that.
the end of this being like, is this the 2019 we should have had?
Well, in most cases, yeah,
We're
probably.
getting a tally score right now, being like, yeah, man. All
Yeah,
right.
you had to put your credit card in to use the search there, didn't you? Was that the thing, or was it when they did the video call? Am I mixing?
I
that
don't
up?
remember. I just remember Buscemi makes a really bad joke about not giving women your credit cards.
Oh,
God,
yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot about that.
Is his car just stupid, or is it a future car? Is that a real car?
His car?
Yeah,
What about his car?
it just looked kind of stupid. And I didn't know if it was like
it was just a PT Cruiser, wasn't it? Or like one of those weird PT Cruiser truck. There was something
I
weird
maybe it
about
was a PT Cruiser
No,
truck.
that's what I
Yeah.
love about everything that's not the crazy metro or the hover
Yeah.
bike is that
I have to
cars
find
are
it.
like kind of futury,
Yeah.
but only in the sense that they just have a PT Cruiser front. Like just the front of the car has got that like PT Cruiser design, and that's it.
I couldn't tell if it was like, oh, this is like some weird art decoration or like art deck stuff, or if it was just like a stupid looking real car.
No, it's a stupid looking real car.
Okay.
It's exactly what it's a Chevrolet SSR, and it is definitely, it's of the PT Cruiser ilk when they were like trying to figure out before like the new Mustang came out, and they were like trying to figure out how do you make classic cars but new.
Yeah.
And this was one of those where it's kind of like
my
a
God.
shitty roundish truck.
Yeah. So you can see what I'm saying.
And this was like when they were trying to figure, they were like, how do we make classic cars new? And no one could figure it out until
still
they
didn't
Was that
figure it
specifically like
Yeah.
a 2004 or 5 thing? Like,
yes. Yeah, the PT Cruiser and that, they there was like, yeah, this weird trend. Of course. It's perfect for this movie. Of course.
yeah, 15 years from now, this is cars.
Absolutely. Well, that's the other thing is that I love about future vehicles usually in movies. Like at some point we see a future semi truck and it's just like a bubble. Everything is just round.
Yeah.
Everything's just
they
rounded
start to
off in the
shape
future.
or sand stuff down.
Yeah, because corners and angles are not the future.
No.
Smooth, like design is
I
the
could
future.
cut my head on those.
Yeah,
I could bump my little knees on those.
yeah, exactly. It will be suing people because their kneecaps are like knocked off.
Yeah, it's really sad.
It's crazy.
Now we can't bump our head on it.
Now I can't bump my head on it. No,
I'll still do it.
I'd find a way to do it.
Yeah.
It's not softer.
But also, you know, they couldn't show it too much, and that's why they're mostly running everywhere.
Yes.
Like they don't get a car for very long.
They run a lot in this.
They run so much to the point where I'm like, how are you guys making it through the desert and making it through anything?
Falling off the giant
Physical
ladder.
performance.
Oh my God.
Should be
Peak.
Wicked Dead.
I have a thing.
Physical
I think
performance.
anytime I see in a movie where something like that happens, I can't help but just go, "You're dead."
Yeah,
You're
I
dead.
actually
You're
like,
dead.
those
I'm
are
dead.
cheated,
but you're dead.
You're
Like,
dead.
It's fine.
but they
Once
landed on
again,
a net, I think. So.
they did. And once again, peak physical form.
Yeah.
We gotta remember those
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
They
That's true.
are perfection.
Their liver
The-
remembers childhood.
They're the
Yeah.
best version
They're
of themselves.
3-year-old, 30-year-olds.
Yep.
They're in great shape.
That's the best way to describe this movie. It's just like it's full of 3-year-old, 30-year-olds.
It is.
Is that encompass Bay in general? Is Bay just a
Ooh.
3-year-old?
Aw. Yeah.
Just
kinda.
playing with his
Is
toys.
this the ultimate Bay movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
It
And then I
might
go
be.
around them like this, and then I look at them while they're doing stuff around.
And they're my little toys,
Yeah.
and this is what they
And-
say to each other. And then they kiss.
And I move them all around with my weird crystal pyramid.
They had sex like his dolls. Like he just put them on top of each other.
and
For the video people, it's
the
just
bad
this.
boys for life.
That's a different. That's a different version of Bad Boys that I would also watch. I would love for them to fall in love.
Oh
It'd
my
be
God.
nice.
That's the reboot. They'll do it in the reboot.
They will.
I kind of did a reboot.
I never saw the one after.
Oh, it
two.
was Bad Boys for Life, but it was the third movie.
Bad Boys for life.
But the third movie.
They have a 4th one this year.
Do they really?
I know. Yeah, that's
Bad Boys
exciting.
4. What if that was Bad Boys for Life?
They must have obviously thought that Bad Boys for Life was such a good title, and were certain they wouldn't get more than another movie, so they
Yeah.
were like, "Gotta use it."
And then
Yeah.
weirdly, it's the highest-grossing movie of the pandemic year.
I believe it was,
'Cause
yeah,
it came out in January.
and it was really fun. So they just should make this one Bad Boys 5 Life.
Oh my!
But it's number 4.
Girls
Yeah.
5 have a
Batter boys ears, batter boys.
I'm not the opinion that the sillier your title, the more I'm wanting to go see it. And,
Desperately.
Yeah, and I
It's
feel
good.
like
It's a confidence.
The
It's like,
fast-
oh,
that's
they
why
don't
the
even
fast
give a
movies
shit.
haven't been the same since.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they simplified them a little too much.
Yeah.
Fast.
Was it just X or was it Fast X?
I think it's Fast X.
Yeah.
They just blatantly ignored Fasten Your Seatbelts. Like they just saw it on the internet and said, "Fuck you guys, we're calling it Fast X." Got too serious with it.
What was the thing you said you wanted to save for later?
Oh, so my big thing is we were talking about like humans and the clones and meeting your clone, like
Yes.
and whatnot. So in 2019, Trump is president. He definitely has a clone.
Yeah.
So we're
Do you think the
assuming that-
clone
okay,
is like
yes.
in a chamber, being born? Is
Yeah.
he like a cool dude? in the
because he doesn't have Trump in him yet.
Yeah, or
like
is
is blank?
nature versus nurture? Is Trump in there like, what if he's the Ewan McGregor and he's just like a leader and people
What
actually
if he
respect him? And then he
doesn't
goes
suck?
and meets himself and it's just the worst human being possible.
And
Oh.
it just destroys him.
Yeah.
Like it destroys the
Everybody
clone,
likes
knowing
him.
that it.
Yeah.
Everyone likes him way more than the real guy.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, let's get this guy in.
I would
That's
say
a movie.
I would say that that's really funny.
It's
and
really
really
fun-
interesting.
But also, it's very possible because the skill set would be the same, being as that the clone is a 3-year-old.
Yes, a 3-year-old, 30-year-old.
well, that's what I was gonna. Maybe my only thing is maybe his clone never advances to the point of actual
It just
reading
stays a
and
little-
comprehension.
It just stays a sack of organs gremlin.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's
Yeah.
wrong with this one.
There's
It's
the
not-
other one that's just, there's the other direction, yeah, where it's either just like a gremlin or he's just walking around being like, give me the bacon. I just need all the bacon. You can't keep the bacon from me.
Yeah, or what if it is just like I do like the idea of potentially he's growing up in a society where everyone gets the same thing.
Mhm.
There's no special treatment.
Mhm.
Does that make him a sane, normal person?
Yeah.
Or is he such a fucking dick that he somehow it just oozes out of every piece of DNA in him
Yeah.
that he's in there being an absolute fuckface
If it's
constantly.
I would say he's probably going to tend towards fuckface because that stuff, like the narcissism and like the personality disorders, that's like brain chemistry.
Yeah.
So that's got to be like part of your makeup, not just like I'm sure surroundings contribute to that.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're that big a piece of shit, there's like parts of it you couldn't escape.
Yes.
It certainly comforts me on some weird level that there could never be a version of him that is sane or enjoyable.
And it would be the greatest cameo just to see this just like crazy guy just walking around thinking like he owns the place, just still but wearing the giant gray suit and the slippers.
Yeah.
And he's still orange. Like, yeah.
Or somehow.
Yeah, somehow still orange is like I need
That's part of the genes too.
yeah, exactly.
Because he replaced his sweat with artificial tanner.
Exactly.
I also have to think though, if he was president at this time, then I don't think they'd have to make this a secret.
No, he'd probably be
I-
like, everyone should know about the cloning blaze.
Oh, no,
We're
I bet it would be a
deregulating it.
every-
Who cares if they have souls? I don't believe in it.
It would be a secret, but he'd be like on the TV being like, I have the best clones.
My VP is my clone.
Yeah.
He'd probably just go full Nick Fury and have a bunch of like clone decoys just around him at all times.
Yeah.
You never know where he is, just
Yeah.
so he can just always be at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
So he just has multiple clones in the White House.
Go to source Trump.
When he
Yeah.
said that, though, I got to tell you what went through my mind is that he's got a bunch around him at all times. I thought you meant he's just
Gang
constantly
banging him.
bobbing and weaving amongst like a bunch so people don't know which one is him.
Just like a giant bumper car. Just walking around being like, oops. Just
Just so it could be like,
It's
I
too
just have the
many.
most clones.
Just have so
I
many.
have so
clones.
many.
Look at this one, it's gold.
Gold clone.
I gold plated that clone. He's dead, but he's gold.
You know Goldfinger, that girl?
Yeah.
That's what I did to him.
The Austin Powers movie.
No,
Yeah.
It's
no.
called Gold Me. Yeah.
Gold me.
It's
gold-
Gold. And gold.
It's gold me finger.
But I feel like he'd be cool with it. I don't think we'd have to
Yeah.
hide our
It's-
conscious clones behind a secret
It's just
facility with
the
him.
nature of the podcast to maybe bring up when they're like, oh yeah, the president, he's got a clone. And then I went like, oh man, what is Trump doing then?
No, it's a more interesting movie for that clone to not be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And like the Ewan McGregor scene,
Yeah.
I think in the island world
Mhm.
would be that Trump would be cool.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
like that real Ewan McGregor was like
A
a
dick.
for himself
He
piece of
sucks.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like the other one was like trying to help Scarlett Johansson because she's
Mhm.
Scarlett Johansson, and in like not being an asshole
Right.
or thinking
Yeah.
about himself. So
Hate
there-
bringing up Trump at all, but that was just the
No,
thing
no,
that
it's
came
a
through
good
my
thought
mind.
exercise.
It's
Like-
he's never far from our minds.
Yeah. And you say the word 2019, I'm gonna be like, who is president? Fuck.
yeah.
I,
Think okay.
And now I killed the momentum.
no. Well, then you got me thinking about him, and then I went on a rant yesterday that I don't think I should record. But anyway, I think I advocated for some very illegal things to be done to him, which I won't
Patreon?
say on air.
Maybe
The Patreon, we'll talk about it.
Okay. The paywall. Speaking of paywall, you can find it patreon.com/LOLJK podcast,
Wow.
where you can get a bonus segment for every episode of the show, with guests most times, sometimes without. Michael is sticking around for a bonus segment. All right.
Fuck yeah,
Hell yeah.
dude.
So you can also find links to the video version of the show as well as the audio version at our website, yestomtoday.com. That's the link tree. Anything of import will be on that site where you can just go directly to it.
Yes.
Anything else you want to bring up, Kyle?
Well, I think we'll sign off in the way that we usually sign off, which is with the important question of, is there anything that y'all would take from this future of 2019?
My healthy liver.
Okay. Okay, fine. So you're just going to have a clone? Is that what it is?
No, I want the crystal. I want the crystal table.
Okay,
Joey,
just the crystal,
you
though?
You already put yourself in a corner with the crystal pyramid.
Yeah, crystal table.
You just want the crystal, or you want the full table?
Well, I mean, if I can use the crystal on other things, I'll
do
take
you want
just the crystal,
do you want the tablecloth that goes with it?
No,
so you can eat
a
on
dodo
it?
case for an iPad is like $200. There's no way I'm gonna afford a dodo case for a full table with a crystal
all
on
right.
it.
I'm just checking.
I mean,
Michael?
it can't be like, yeah, I think clone is a default no answer. That's too easy. I just want the OG Xbox thing. Because I'm like a huge fan of just that logo, because it's so like
So good.
2000s.
So good.
And what they've done now, I'm like, it's
awful.
fine. It's
No,
whatever.
it's
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 awful.
bad. It's
terrible.
bad.
So I want to have that, but then maybe just have some more normal games in it. Like, I don't want to like punch a lot in it. I just want to sit in it with a controller.
Okay.
Oh, you want a fancy gamer
so
chair?
I'm actually not sure if you do want that. It feels like you don't
I
want
want
it.
to strip it for parts and take what I want and just put it in my garage.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a less premium version. That's probably what you're talking about.
There is probably just Xboxes out
Yeah.
in the real world that I'm like, I'll just want a working Xbox in 2019. The
I
big
would-
giant black brick.
I mean, it's definitely. I also would get the Xbox. I like the idea of you buy an Xbox and it's like an arena. I like that a lot.
I like you're like it's an Xbox, but also an arena.
But you need to like devote a whole room
it's
to
like-
your Xbox.
I have
which
VR
is pretty
shit,
fun.
and I don't have room for that. Look,
Yeah.
the posts are like right behind you.
I
there.
know.
Like, there's no room for
We've
even
all
VR.
gone down the VR rabbit hole, being like, I'm gonna have a hologram room, and then like 2 weeks later, you're like, I actually need this room for things.
But
Like,
I have to
I
put-
can't do a VR room.
I must put my games here.
Yeah.
But I would like it. I think that it's like, yes, all I could think during the Xbox sequence where they box each other, I was just like, just throw some Marvel versus Capcom skins on that. Just throw Street Fighter in that. Like, I would play fighting games again if I could just be the panda from Tekken.
If you could project the panda on you and
Yes!
everyone can watch the panda,
Yes! That's all
right, I'm back
what
in on the whole
that
thing.
should be.
I'm back
That's
in on
what
the whole
that
thing.
should be. I have no problem if it's just fighting games. I have no problem but like as long as I can have like see not me
well, Kyle,
on there. Can I be
if you-
Spider-Man? Can I be
It's 2024. If you want to be
Blanca.
a panda, you can be a panda.
but I want to be a panda in our universe, not in some meta. you
Oh,
know what
okay.
I mean?
Yeah, but the problem
real
is that
fur.
a really good latex panda suit, assuming we're talking about latex pandas.
Oh yes.
or are we
skin
talking
tight.
about more of like a furry? Either one, for a quality one, that's a lot of money.
It is
Yeah,
a lot of
We
it
know
is.
that. We've sourced these things before, Joe.
Gone
I
down that rabbit
I
hole.
wish that I could say that we haven't, but we've sourced a lot of things. And I gotta say that if it's a fetish,
Expensive.
to have the nice version of it, expensive.
Yeah.
It's an investment in your
Do
future.
you think more expensive than an Arena Xbox?
Oh no, probably
No,
not.
But you could project
No.
anything you want. You could
You could
project
not
well,
be
that's
just
the
a
thing.
panda.
not just be a panda, but you could project the panda latex version on you as well.
That's a good point.
Without buying
You
it
could
and
save
having
money.
the comfort of sweating through it and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could be any fetish all
You-
in one
you-
place.
so instead of spending hundreds to thousands of dollars on the actual suit, I spend $60 on like a sort of Fortnite skin.
a very specific panda latex.
Very specific one.
I want the one that
like
you can tell I'm sweaty.
yeah,
I like the one where it's
glistening.
I'm so moist. My attack is that I sweat on you.
I want you to see the panda and be like, damn, that panda's wet.
Damn, he's slick.
God, who won Fortnite last night? Oh, the fucking sweaty
The
panda
slick
again.
panda.
Slick Panda.
It was so slippery. I
Panda
couldn't
one.
couldn't get him on target.
You grab him and he just slips right
He's
out.
so slick. I did not like it. And he
And then you're dabbing to get rid of the sweat.
You got to pay extra for the dab. If you try to do the dab without paying for it, then they block you.
Yeah.
Yeah, OG Xbox does not do dances.
But I also pay a little extra to get the skin grapple gun in the game too.
Can we agree that's thing that nobody
No
wants to
one
take with
should
them
get
for
it.
2019?
If you had said that, you're the only person that would have maybe said it. And I'm glad that you didn't.
The only reason I did it is because
The only reason.
every time I go fishing, that goes through my mind of like accidentally happening. So I
okay.
like it's something.
It's too visceral.
It's
for
too real and
Yeah.
like something that's like actually something I've been afraid of.
Okay, fair
like
enough.
anytime someone like has a rod and is like moving it around without anything on the hook, I'm
You're
like,
just waiting
that's
to
gonna
be
get
hooked
that's gonna
somewhere.
get caught on somebody. It's gonna get caught on somebody's skin. It's gonna
Okay.
poke through. Yeah, no, thank you.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't want a gun whose sole purpose is that.
Harpoon flesh gun.
Yeah.
Okay, well, final question. Would you live in this 2019?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
we all kind of were like, this is all okay
yeah.
in 2019.
I think overall, beyond the ethics of cloning and what makes us
Look, that's not my
individuals,
problem. I won't be able to
I-
afford a clone. It's not
Yeah.
even going to
we
be.
already talked about it. Timeshare clone. We're
We,
all gonna pull in.
we absolutely could do. It's like going in on a racehorse.
Yeah, there's gonna be an official podcast clone once we get enough Patreons to get in the $5 million.
That is a good idea. See, no, we need to backtrack on the Patreon thing. Join our Patreon. Pay more than we're requesting so we can get a clone.
Every
Please.
episode, if this episode makes this amount of money, we'll get a clone with our guest.
The highest donors get their body part specifically cloned onto it, so it becomes a weird Frankenstein monster.
So we just
That's pretty good.
Don't ask me how that works.
Your blood gets added to the gene,
Okay.
to the DNA pool.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
Send us your DNA.
So since we all know that clones have no intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Limited.
Sure.
Do we just taxidermy our clone and then we can have them?
Oh, like we just have them here?
Yeah.
But then you're getting rid of all the good stuff inside.
But when you mash
Because,
them
like-
together, I assume it's not gonna like
The liver won't work.
the
though.
liver won't work.
because we don't have hope. It doesn't have hope.
It
It lost
hasn't
its
been
hope when it got
destroyed
Oh, that's
yet.
true,
My
yeah.
liver super works.
All right. Yeah.
The
I
disappointment.
have the saddest memories. My liver's the strongest.
I've been told it's so strong there's extra fat around it. I assume that's what fatty liver means.
It felt too real. We got to talk after this, Joey. I don't know if you were announcing something.
Maybe
or
we
what.
start the Patreon now.
we got to start it right
Hey, yeah, we
now.
got to get it going
is
on
the
this thing.
bonus
Like,
step.
this is a hilarious goof and all, but we got to
But
get
also,
like, a
Joey
clone.
needs a new liver, so let's get this fucking
There's a
going.
reason I was focused on the liver bit. It wasn't, the entire episode.
All I'm thinking about constantly. Wow. Well, I think that's an episode.
I think that's an
y'all.
episode.
That feels good. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Guys, thanks for having me. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Have
Thank you for
Have me
forcing
again.
me to watch
And
The Island.
What a good choice, too. What
Yes.
a great movie choice. Absolutely perfect. Do you have anything that you want to plug? Do you have anything you're working on that you talk about?
Yeah,
that-
I mean, I guess. Well, when does this one go out?
This will
probably a
couple-
month or
a month
two.
or so
yeah.
from now.
Okay,
Month-ish.
so I have a movie that I directed that is playing at South by Southwest
Damn.
in
It's
March.
just a little festival
It's
called
a
South by
little festival. It's called Things Will Be Different. I have no idea what's going to happen beyond that, but it should come out this year in some way or form. So, yeah. Oh, and then that's a ding that tells me that's a good plug. So,
Great plug, great plug, great plug.
Other than that, go check out Something in the Dirt on Hulu. I'm in it I'm edited it, but I'm also in it as a crazy editor with a big beard. Go see Synchronic. I think it's on Netflix, and then Endless is floating around, or we Endless doesn't exist because you didn't intro it. So
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, no,
I only
no,
did two
that's
movies.
fine. Yeah, only two.
Yeah.
The fact that you named this newest one is frankly insane. If I didn't know about it, then I don't know why you're even talking about it.
It's basically in the future.
But
oh my God. And go see The Island. I didn't work on it.
go see The Island.
I don't even. The bummer is, I think you have to rent it, but because this movie didn't make.
I
any
think
money.
it did. But I am excited. Hey, if we got a lot of theaters here that might play The Island at some point, and we just all have to promise to go together when it's playing at like Vidiot's or somewhere, or the New Bev.
Oh my God.
the New Bev will
We
play
should-
The
God,
Island.
let's go like the video or the new Vista opening and just being like, I know
Absolutely.
they're playing like Zone of Interest, a very serious art film.
That
But
is
if they
very
could just
serious.
drop The Island in the
I am afraid that the Vista's only gonna play very serious new movies, and that's not the vibe I want want from it. I
Yeah.
respect it, but it's not the vibe I want.
No, I saw Mad Max Fury Road there. I want
Yes!
more shit like that.
I saw It Too there, which is not really great, but you know,
But you want that
But that's
option.
what I wanted. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And that's where I wanted to see it.
Go check out The Island.
Bay needs the plug.
I
It's
appreciate
fine.
you plugging
Bay
it.
needs it. This is the movie that caused him to do Transformers for like 10 years, so
So,
support
yeah.
it, please.
Interesting. We didn't really talk about that. I'm glad that we didn't, because that I don't know what happened there. There's a lot of speculation, I imagine. But thank you so much for listening. This was another episode of Yesterday's Tomorrow Today. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time. I'm Kyle McVeigh.
And I'm Joey Reinish.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That was fun, and thanks for listening to Explosion Magic